Introduce our next speaker, Elena Matveeva from Yaroslavl. Preparing teenage English language learners for future workplace. Yeah? You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I think maybe it would be easy. I don't know if you don't mind if you could join the group, because I would like to ask some questions for discussion, if it's no bother. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. All right. Okay, so let's start. Yeah. Today, well, first of all, let me say a few words about my workshop. Yes, we have 45 minutes, which is, I think, quite a long time. So we'll see how it goes. So I would like to have a conversation with you. So basically, it's good that there are only how many, 5, 6 of you. It's fine, yeah. So we can just, communicate, and everybody will get a chance to say what they think. Yeah, great. So everybody will have a voice. And yeah, so I would like you to interact. Yeah, I would like you to participate and to answer the questions, please, because it's a workshop, not just a talk. And I hope that the ideas that I'm going to share today will be useful for you. And while listening to me, I would like you to think how you can apply those ideas in your environment, yes, in your classroom. Okay. Let's start. So first of all, I like telling stories, so I'm going to tell you my story. How did I end up teaching teenagers? Because those of you who know me long enough, yes, so I have some of my colleagues here, know that I actually am a university teacher to begin with, right? So I started teaching at the Demidov State University a long time ago when I was still a student myself. And I taught at the Department of Economics and at the IT department. And I think that you will understand later that that actually influenced my career a lot. Okay, so I'm just mentioning everything so that you understand where everything I'm doing, where everything is coming from. I really love people to make sense of what's going on, to be, to have logic in everything that is happening. So I would like you to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So at that time, as you can see, I was working at the university for quite a long time, and I was teaching mostly general English and business English and English for specific purposes, right? So I was teaching young adults, and I thought I found my target group. Yeah, I loved it. Everything was great. But, yeah. Then I had 2 kids. Well, yeah, not one after another, but okay, anyways. Somewhere after 2012, I started coming back to teaching after, I had my second child. And I actually started to maybe reinvent myself a little bit. And then when I got to know the EFL English language community worldwide, not in Russia. So, and in 2014, I became the IATEFL BSIG member. Just for you who don't know what these letters stand for, IATEFL is the International Association for Teachers of English as a Foreign Language, and BSIG is the Business English Special Interest Group. So you can see where my interest developed. Yes, business English all the way. I was all for business English, and you know why? Because I thought that by teaching business English, that is like what I could teach so that people could use in their real life. I was always for teaching something useful, yes? Not just the topics at school, not just grammar, not just reading and writing, but something they can actually take and use, yeah? How to take part in meetings, how to present, how to take part in negotiations and all that kind of stuff. That was my passion. And then all of a sudden, yeah, no, that's not it. In 2015, I started working at the Dmitry Nikitin School, and again, I was still teaching adults. Yeah, I was still teaching adult learners, and I thought that was going to continue. But then suddenly, yes, in 2016, my colleague asked me to cover for her because she was going on a maternity leave, and she asked me, Elena, could you teach my teenage group for 2 months before the end of the academic year? I was really scared because, I had very bad experience of teaching teenagers by that time. I used to work at a suburban village school for a year, and it was a nightmare. I didn't want that to come back. But I said, Okay, if there is no other option, I'll do it, but only for 2 months. And then in September, I'll go back to my comfort zone and I'll continue teaching adults. Okay, so that was my decision. Well, guess what? It never happened. And I loved teaching teenagers. And you know, all those fears that I had at the beginning, how will I discipline them? Will they be interested? Will they be motivated? They just disappeared. I don't know, somehow. And I loved teaching teenagers. My daughter was a teenager at the time. Actually, you can see my daughter in the slide. So now she is 18. And she was one of my students as well. And it was, on the one hand, a real challenge, because teaching your own child is a very big challenge. But I decided that, okay, well, I know I can teach well, okay? So I want to teach my child something that, you know, I can give her. Yeah, so I thought that if I don't give that to her, then who would? So I started teaching teenagers and I never looked back. And now, beginning from last year, actually this, you know, COVID situation turned to our benefit and I started writing materials. And last year I taught my first online course for teachers. Today I'm going to speak about it a little bit more later at the end of my presentation. So now I love teaching teens and I'm going to tell you why. Well, you know, it turned out that teenagers are this age group and they are really open-minded and flexible. Yeah, and I realized that when I was teaching adults, especially adults who are like older, I had some adults who were 60 plus, yeah, who are well established in their life. It's getting difficult to teach them because they are very fixed in their mindset and they are not eager to change. They take a very long time to trust the teacher. Well, I love the challenge, of course, so I loved the challenge. I loved, you know, working with them and building trust. But little by little, I just started getting a little bit tired of always trying to persuade. Why? You know, why? Let's try that. Oh, we don't want, but we've never done it. So they are really like, they have this fixed mindset and they are not really eager to try some new things. So in teens, I found this, you know, like wonderful target group who are eager to try. That's one thing. I found out they are very good at following good instructions. So if you give them good instructions, they'll do anything and everything. So the task of a teacher is basically to give them instructions. As for discipline, I don't know. Actually, I never thought that that was a problem somehow. Sometimes it was with some, you know, teenagers, but not much. Okay. So today, so you know my story now, and I hope that you can see the connection to the topic. Yes, so preparing teenage learners for future workplace. And here I want to ask you a question. So I guess that it would be nice for you just to shout out your answers. Why do you think teenagers need English? Well, let me just make it maybe a little bit more clear what I want to ask you. So I want us all to think like, I'm always for awareness, yeah? I always want everybody, all my learners to understand why they are doing it, because I think it's really important to understand why you're doing what you're doing. So I would like you to tell me, what do you think are the motives for teenagers to learn English? Why do they do it? Why do they start learning English? How does it happen? So do they need it? Who needs it? Like, what are your ideas? Why do teenagers need English nowadays? They want to go and work abroad. They want to play video games, okay. Ah, they want to understand the lyrics of the songs. They like, yeah, great, yeah. Okay, so to read something that is interesting for them. To pass exams, exactly, very simple like that, exams, yeah, especially those who want to develop in that sphere. Yeah, so school curriculum, yeah, they have to. Sometimes they don't want to, but they have to, or their parents want them to.
Okay. But still, I just wanted to comment that that they don't have very high level of intrinsic motivation at this level, at this age level. Still, they probably follow their parents' recommendations. Yep. So this extrinsic motivation.
Yep. Exactly.
Speaking about the awareness, I would not say that.
Yeah, usually you're right. So usually it depends. Teenagers come to learn English because their parents sent them. They said, you should go and learn. I have many cases like that. And then because they have exams and they know they have to prepare early, I'm not sure they're thinking about moving abroad. But I mean, like they might. Some of them might. They're really straightforward. Not all of them. So here I would like to give you some statistics which might help us to persuade our teenagers. If they are not yet motivated to learn English, then it might be that we might, we can help with the statistics to motivate them. Today I'm going to give you some quotes from the talk that you can find on YouTube. It is the talk from IATEFL 2019 conference given by Tim and Mike, who were speaking about job market and, as you can see, the topic of the talk, job applications in 2030. So they did a research. So one of them is a representative of Pearson, another one represented the CFAR. So they did a research. Of course, the research was conducted not in Russia, but in Europe. So, but I think that the situation might be similar in our country. Maybe the percentage might be different. So they found out that knowledge of English occupied the second place of desirable attributes for the job. What do you think occupied the first place?
No, the knowledge necessary for the job itself.
Exactly. The first place was taken by the knowledge that was necessary for the job itself, specific knowledge. And English was the second place. Quite high, yeah? Quite high. 68% of employers assess their employees' English language learners' skills, like in a form of exam, probably, or somehow maybe at the job interview. And 90% of employers said that they see the benefits in like profitability, which increased when they hire employees with good English language knowledge. So I know that maybe, so when I'm speaking about teenagers, I mostly, have in mind teenagers like not 10, 11, 12, yeah, but maybe beginning from 14 and older 14 to 18. So they start maybe thinking about their future little by little. From my experience, teenagers don't like thinking about their future, but I think we have to actually create some kind of atmosphere and environment and allow them to think about their future and encourage them to think in that direction, especially in our world, which is changing so fast.
Хотите постоянно развиваться в преподавании иностранных языков? Школа Дмитрия Никитина проводит образовательные тренинги, конференции и курсы для преподавателей. Подробности о событиях можно узнать по ссылке в описании.
The next is discussion. Yeah. Okay, so I wanted you to discuss, but you can just tell me, or if you want, you can discuss in your small groups as you wish. I would like you to answer these three questions. So today we are speaking about preparing teenagers for future workplace. So what do we mean? What do you mean? What does it mean to you? Yeah. Preparing teenage learners for future workplace. How can we, English language teachers, who basically don't have much connection with the future workplace, maybe also we think, how can we prepare learners for future workplace? And can we? Maybe we cannot. I don't know. Maybe you think we can't. And do you think that we should even bother with that, and why? Okay, maybe I'd say let's discuss it in groups. Yeah, usually group discussion works great. So if you have nobody to join, then could you find somebody to join? Yeah, so I'll just give you a couple of minutes to speak about that. Okay, colleagues, I know maybe you didn't manage to answer all the questions, but let's continue, okay? Because I just realized there is not so much time left. So, what do you mean? Just can you shout out some of your ideas really quickly? What do we mean by preparing teenage learners for future workplace? What did you come up with in your discussion?
Make them aware of some skills like presentations, negotiating, and so on. Job interview, writing a CV.
Okay, great. Yeah, great. Mm-hmm.
Soft skills that they might need in their future job.
Mm-hmm. exactly. Yeah. So the word soft skills come to mind right away. Yeah, that is what we really need. And here, just in a moment, I will show you a very nice quote, which I liked. Actually, I can open it now so that you can read. So again, this quote was mentioned again in the same talk. So if you're interested, you can have a look at the talk and find it on YouTube. I'll give you some time to read the quote. And you know, if we think about it, our world now is changing really fast. It is no doubt that now a lot of jobs are already taken by robots, by artificial intelligence, yeah? And job market is changing really quickly. So, and well, teaching teenagers now who will come into the workplace in some years, how can we predict which jobs will be still in place when they graduate university, yeah? How can we do it? Because some jobs that they will do, they will have a chance to do, they don't exist now. They might not really exist. So it's like a difficult question now. And that's why soft skills come to play, right? Because like, why did we start speaking about skills now? I've been attending business English conferences for many years, as you have seen, beginning from 2014. And now the focus, even in business English, it changed to soft skills. All they are talking about is soft skills now. And so why? Because all the jobs, more or less, somehow will be connected with these, you know, basic skills that they will need: communicating with people, making decisions, presentation skills, yeah, communication, creativity. And now we live in this world of information, yeah, so information exchange is key. And like dealing with people is like people buy from people, people learn from people. And it's all about soft skills. And soft skills are those transferable skills that can be used in any job. So we are not sure that we can't prepare them like for a particular job at school, right? But we can prepare them to be flexible, to be adaptable, to be quick, to to react to the changes that happen. And here I would like to give you a nice metaphor, which I really loved. So it was given by Elena Matveeva in one of her books. She's great. She speaks about, you know, workplaces and how to find the job that you love. She wrote 2 books, so I'm sure you can find her books. So she says that if we think about the development in jobs, in work, in professional development, it could be compared to an escalator. Yeah. So, and previously, like say in Soviet times, it was just you step on the first step and then you slowly proceed in your job and you develop and go from one level to another to another. And if you remember your parents, well, my parents, for example, stayed in one job all their life. Yeah, maybe 2 at most. So they did not change jobs so much. Then at some point, says, the escalator started moving in a different direction. So, and to be able to stay where you are, even where you are, you have to move fast. You have to move your legs. You have to, you have to move fast. Even if you just want to stay on the same level, because if you don't move at all, you'll be going backwards. And then the time came when the escalator disappeared altogether, so we have nothing at all. It's like so unstable, unpredictable, and we have to be ready for anything and everything. And if just not long ago there was this concept of just in time, popular and developed, now the concept is just in case. Yeah, we have to prepare them to be ready for absolutely anything and everything, and that's difficult. And that's difficult also for the teachers, as we can see, to change our mindset, yeah, for us to understand that maybe what we had in our life previously is not going to work for our teenagers. Okay, so again, this is the list. Of course, it's not the, it's not the whole list, and the list of soft skills is always, growing. So these are just some of them that were mentioned by employers. So what are employers looking for? And Tim and Mike argue that if we look at the list of those skills, we can easily group them into our familiar 4 C's, the 21st century skills: collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking. So, I'm not going to go deep into that. I'll tell you about our courses, so if you want to go deeper into the topic, I'll tell you where to join us. But today I would like to tell you our story, okay? I love sharing experiences because I think that at the Dmitry Nikitin School we have lots of good practices that you can, adopt, adapt, and use. So I would like to tell you about one activity that we organized at our school and I'm proud of. With, Ron Moraine, those of you who know him, he had this voice and choice, so he called an activity voice and choice. Probably he meant something else, but I like using this voice and choice for the activity I'm going to tell you about now. So while I'm speaking about it, I want you to think which soft skills were used, to practice, maybe which soft skills teenagers practiced when they took part in this activity. Okay, a little pre-story. So it was November, it was probably 2019, I guess, before the pandemic. So we were all still studying face-to-face, going to school. Christmas time was coming. Our kids were, rehearsing their Christmas play, and teenagers were doing nothing. And at the Dmitry Nikitin School, I'm responsible for teaching teenagers and adults. And it was my headache, So I knew that the kids were already rehearsing and teenagers were doing nothing, and I had no ideas how to organize their New Year party. I know that all our teachers were already, exhausted of offering some new creative ideas every year, because a Christmas party is a traditional party at the Dmitry Nikitin School. So it was my, biggest headache. And at the same time, I went to the course design workshop of Dmitry Nikitin in Moscow. So yes, we went to Moscow to attend the workshop of Dmitry Nikitin, who lives in Yaroslavl. It was great. And then I was complaining to all my colleagues, guys, can you help me? I need ideas for, for a New Year party. I don't know what to do. But after the workshop, just here it is the question that is central to, design thinking. Did you ask your customer about that? So when I came back to, to Yaroslavl, I thought, why don't we ask the students what they want? Because they will have ideas, right? And why not? We'll try. So, and we organized a New Year party preparation using service design tools that I'm going to speak to you about now: brainstorming, categorizing, dot voting, mind mapping, and celebrating. Okay, what did we do? First, we got together with all the teachers. We realized we had no ideas. We decided to involve our teenage learners in, creating those ideas. So step 1 was brainstorming, and the idea was, so they all had post-it notes. We set a timer to 5 minutes, and they had to write all the ideas that come to mind, one idea per post-it note, answering such a question. Well, I don't know how colleagues did it, but I'll tell you how I did it, because actually all the teachers of teenage groups did this activity in their classrooms. I asked my teens to imagine the best ever New Year or Christmas party that they could, ever imagine in their wildest dreams. I didn't want them to imagine what kind of party would you like us to organize. No, I wanted them to imagine an ideal party, like anything crazy that they might have in mind, anything. I wanted their wild ideas to be poured on those post-it notes. So, and yeah, they had post-it notes, they had 5 minutes, they had to generate ideas, one idea per post-it note. After they did it, they put all their ideas on the board. Yeah, well, presenting their idea, just briefly, they say what the idea is, they post them on the post-it or on the board. After that, after all the ideas were on the board, came categorizing. So here the task was to look at all the ideas and to put them into different groups according to a certain criteria. They had to understand how to group them. Yeah, they had to figure it out. Here in the picture you can see that there are not so many teenagers in a group, but for example, if there are 6, 9, I don't know, 10, 8 teenagers, ideally the process goes like that. The first row of teens, they can touch the post-it notes and they can move them physically. The second row, they cannot touch post-it notes, they can only speak, they can give instructions, yeah, but they cannot touch, they cannot physically move anything. And the third row, if you have enough students, they are just observing without saying anything and without touching anything, which is really difficult. I took part in this activity. The most difficult part was to be the third row and not to do anything, not to say, not to touch, not to, nothing. Just observe, because when you are in this third row, you see the whole picture and you see what's going on, and, it's interesting. So you give them, yeah.
You mean the students who are sitting in the third row?
Yeah, no, they stand up. They get to the board.
Uh-huh.
So the first row of students, they mess up with the cards. The second row is standing behind their backs and they are telling them, oh, I can see it there. Can you move it? But they can't touch. Yes, and the third row, usually they don't have so many students, but the third row is just like standing further away and observing. And they have to rotate, okay? So you give them 1 minute, they do their job, okay, rotate, 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 so that every teenager has a chance to play all the roles, ideally, yeah? If there are like 3 students there, it was not an option, yes, so they were just involved. Okay. After that, you can actually ask them to reflect. So how did it feel? Was it difficult? Was it difficult to be an observer? Was it difficult to explain? Yeah, was it difficult to explain what you wanted to say? Again, here you can choose what language. If they are high level enough, they can use English language. You can give it as, a restriction, so you can only speak English. Or if they are lower levels, you can give them a chance to speak Russian. So at this point, actually, well, language was not the main thing for us. Yeah, but I don't even remember what they were speaking actually. But yeah, we needed a result, because when we speak about such kind of activity, like I would be interested in the end result. Yeah, in the result and also in practicing soft skills, but not necessarily focusing on language skills, but it's up to you. Okay, after all the ideas were put into groups, they had to name the group. Yeah, so they had to name the categories. And again, you'll tell me which soft skill is practiced. Okay, so yeah, so as you can see, they put the names. The next one was dot voting, and now we have those fancy dots. When we had this activity, we did not have such dots. They just used the, the marker to put the dots, but now we have very fancy dots of different colors. So every student has 5 dots. They can put the dot on the idea they liked best. They can put all the dots on one idea, or they can, if they didn't like any ideas, which would be difficult to imagine because still they wrote some of them. Yeah, usually they want to vote for some ideas. If they don't want, they don't have to give any dots to any ideas. Yeah, so it's up to them. So they give the dots to the ideas they liked most, and then we move those ideas to a separate part on the board. So we have like a pool of ideas that the kids voted for. The next step will be mind mapping, and you can see like the mind maps that they created. So I told my teenagers, okay, now you have some ideas that you voted for. Could you put them into a mind map? So if they were creative enough, for example, they could like organize the whole party already, and it would be like a plan, okay? So you can see food, activities, outside, something they grouped it somehow, they made it look nice. So, and they loved doing it, really. They were really involved, they loved doing it. So as a result of the class, there was this mind map, yeah? Mind maps, let's say, a couple of mind maps from a group, or one mind map per group. Okay, then after that, the teachers, got together again. So we got the mind maps, we gathered the teachers, and here again, it could be done differently. The initiative could be given more to the students. We didn't at that time because, we still have those controlling freaky mindset of a teacher that we still have to control stuff, but it might be done differently. So how we did it, we gathered together as teachers, and now we had the mind maps, and now we had the ideas. It was much easier to plan. It was much easier to plan the party because and we tried to adopt the ideas and change them somehow, and I think that actually the New Year party that we planned together was the best New Year party that we've ever had. Kids enjoyed it. Then several of them noticed karaoke, so we asked them to send us the songs that they would like to sing connected to the topic of Christmas, so they compiled their list of songs. We also allowed them to invite their friends, like to bring their +1. Usually we did not have such situation. Usually only our students were invited. But here I think that because we allowed them to bring their +1, their friend, it made the atmosphere even cooler. Yeah, because they brought, if there was a shy child, they brought their friend, and they were not shy anymore. Well, from our perspective, it could maybe involve potential students. Yeah, so we invite foreign students because our teenage learners said they would like to have somebody unfamiliar, okay, at the party, somebody unfamiliar. So we organized it somehow, and I think it was great. Yeah, so you can see that they were singing, they were really creative. I think that was the best party we have ever organized. Okay. Great. So it's over to you now. So what do you think? Again, I would like to talk in your little groups or in pairs and answer the 3 questions. Which 21st century skills did the students practice when designing the New Year party? Which ideas would you like to use in your classroom? And what changes will you have to make, if any, if you want to use the ideas in the classroom? Okay, so please talk together. Okay, I'm afraid I'll have to interrupt you here. So you can continue your discussion after, during the lunch break. Yeah. So could you tell me which skills did you notice being used? Let's enumerate, okay? Like maybe some like detailed things, like what came to mind. Yeah.
Well, any 4 C's, but still they had to make some decisions. So decision making was involved.
Mm-hmm. Decision making, yeah, absolutely.
So
the 4 C's, which is like, let's repeat.
Like communication,
Yes.
collaboration, critical thinking, creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. What else?
Information ordering.
Information ordering, yes, and not on, yeah. So the categorizing, yeah, giving a name to the categories. That's also like a soft skill. Prioritizing, yeah, absolutely. Decision making, yeah, that's all, yeah. So I think that I'm not going to ask if you would like to use any of the ideas, but it stays with you. So I hope you got some ideas from your colleagues of what can be changed. If I was to do it again, I think that we might repeat this experience. I would try to, I'm not sure, again, it's like, I don't like giving control to others, yeah, so, but I'd love to give more autonomy to the students in actually organizing the whole thing, right? So maybe somebody will be responsible for equipment, somebody for some games or something, so involve them more in organizing. That would be my dream come true, yeah? So that would give them even more practice of soft skills. So, and yeah, to finish off with, I would just say that when we speak about soft skills, it's really important to give them a chance to practice. It's not enough to know what they, to know that they exist, all right? But we are actually lucky, I think. English teachers, we are lucky because we can teach not only the language, but we can teach life skills, yeah? We can prepare them for future workplace, for future life. We can help our teenagers to become more successful in life. And I think in our classroom, we have this safe environment where they can easily and freely practice those skills without being afraid to make a mistake. So I'm going to finish, and of course, 5 minutes, I think, That is not much, so I can advertise a little bit. So beginning from tomorrow, we are going to have a summer school on the topic of teaching teenagers together with Dmitry Nikitin. For me, it will be the first experience of teaching an offline workshop like that. It was, I think that I couldn't have never imagined that I would be teaching together with Dmitry, so who is like an ideal for me. So, and it will be offline in Yaroslavl, but we also have an online course if you would like to join. So this course we are teaching with Richard Chin, and it is a 6-month course. So it will start in October. The schedule is already on the website. It will go like that, like Richard is going to teach sessions devoted to teaching speaking, listening, writing, what else I forgot? Reading, grammar and vocabulary, and he's a great speaker, he's really cool. And my sessions will focus on soft skills, learning skills, like presentation skills, extensive reading, and that kind of stuff. So we are going to share materials from our materials that we have written together with Dmitry Nikitin. So we've written 2 learning journals for kids, and all our not kids, but teenagers, and all our teenagers at the Dmitry Nikitin School are working using the materials, and they work great. So we are going to share the materials and our experience of using them. I'm sure it will be full of practical material, so you're welcome. I will look forward to seeing you at our courses, and thank you for your attention. So we have like 3 minutes for questions if you have any.
We were thinking about how we can adapt these ideas to teaching young learners.
Question. Yeah, think about that. So I'm not an expert in teaching kids at all. But yeah, why not? But we do have, I don't know, have you seen our learning journal for kids? And there are like other activities that can be practiced, also soft skills activities that can be practiced with kids. You know, Olga Tsareva, who is an expert in kids, so she might have some ideas. Yeah, that's a good question. Why not? Yeah, we can think.
Will both learning journals be provided to the participants of this?
Yeah, let's see. So our summer school, which starts tomorrow, the materials from our first learning journal are made into a brochure, and they will be provided, yes, because all the course will be based on, teaching how to use that. Our online course will include materials from our second edition, so the courses are different. Yeah, I mean, like, the structure maybe is similar, but the material will be different, because we actually, in the second learning journal, we included absolutely new material on soft skills and on learning skills, all the new activities. Yeah? Yeah, so in every course that you join, you will get one or the other, learning journal materials, definitely. You will learn, not the whole, book with blank pages, but just the most important things, yeah, that you will be able to go and use right away. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so thank you very much. It was nice seeing you.